Good morning students. Once again you are most welcome in your algebra class. Today we are going to start the new topic, that is ratio and proportion, our fourth chapter. The thing first, ratio and proportion, what is that? This chapter is bifurcated in two parts. First one is ratio, then proportion. So let's think about the ratio. What is ratio? Whenever we are comparing any of the two quantities or the two numbers, or we can say two things, so how we are going to compare that? Means how we have to find the ratio? Means actually what is the ratio? So let's see what is the ratio and how we have to follow the properties of ratio in our sum. So let's see. Ratio. A ratio is a relation which one quantity bears to another of the same kind and having same units. Means we are comparing the two quantities and that should be of same kind and same unit. Means same type of the quantity should be and unit of both should be same. Then only we are able to do the comparison and we have to find out the ratio of that. Why it is necessary? As because, take an example. If I am talking about the comparison of two students, suppose one is A and another is B. A is in the 10th standard and B is in the 7th standard. Can we do the comparison between the knowledge of these two? No. This is unfair and this is not the way to do the comparison. We will not get the proper answer, our result. So whenever you want to do the comparison between the two students, so both should be whether from 10th or from the 7th. Then only we can do the comparison. The same way, whenever we are finding the ratio, we have to do the ratio of the numbers of the quantities. They are having the same kind and same unit. Then only it could be possible. Suppose if we don't have the same unit of the numbers or the quantities, so we have to convert that into the same unit and we have to do that. And let's see the properties of ratios. Here we have the few properties. The first one, the ratio of the numbers A and B is written as A is to B or A upon B. Means we took the example, we are going to write the ratio of A and B. So how we are going to write that? In this way, A is to B, or we can say A upon B. By both the way we can represent our ratio. A is called the predecessors, or we can say the first term. Generally we are using the first term for that. And what we have B is called successor or second term. First term and the second term is very much useful to us. Mostly we are going to use these words. The second property is that in the ratio of two numbers, if the second term is 100, second term is B, then it is known as percentage. So we can say that is the percentage. For example, if we have 15 is to 100, here A is 15, B is 100, means second term we have 100. It means it is 15 percentage. Or we can say, we can write it 15 upon 100. And we know very well, if we have the denominator 100, that means we are talking about the percentage. So we can say it is 15 percentage. The next property is the ratio remains unchanged. The ratio remains unchanged if the terms are multiplied or divided by non-zero number. Non-zero number means any number whether positive or negative rather than zero. Any number. Like if k is non-zero, then A is to B is equal to AK is to BK. Let's see a small example. If we have the 5 is to 10, our ratio, and we are going to do the multiplication by 2 in both the terms, first term as well as second term, it will become 10 is to 20. If you can say, how we can come to know these two are the same? 5 2s are 10 means the second term is twice of the first term. 10 2s are 20. Here also the second term is twice of the first term. So we can say whenever we have the two terms and the terms are multiplied by or divided by any non-zero number, we are getting the same ratios. The ratio remains unchanged. The next is the quantities taken into the ratios must be in the same unit. What we learned? Whenever we are comparing, whenever we are finding the ratio of the any two quantities, this is the most important. The units should be same of both the quantities. If units are not same, so we have to first make that same. We have to convert into the same unit and we have to find the ratio. The ratio of two quantities is unitless, means whenever we are finding any of the ratio of any of the number, so that are unitless, means in the form of the answer we should never mention the unit. Take an example, if we have 5 rupees is to 10 rupees, so we are finding the ratio, we can write 5 upon 10. 5 1s are 5, 5 2s are 10, so it could be 1 upon 2, we can write 1 is to 2. This way, we cannot write like rupees 1 is to rupees 2, we cannot write in this way. Why we should not write? As because the ratio is the reduced form of the given numbers, so at that time we are making the unit same, so we cannot say the answer should be with that unit. So the ratio of two quantities is unitless. So these are the properties what we have to follow and apply whenever we are finding the ratio of the given quantities or the given sums. So let's start practice set number 4.1. Here we have a question. 1. Find the ratio of the first number to second number. That is most important. We have to take care of that. In what form they are asking? The ratio of first number to the second number from the given pairs of number in the reduced form. Means we have to find the reduced form of the given pairs. Pairs means we have the two numbers. So here we have the question number 1, that is 72 and 60. So let's start. How we are going to solve it? First statement we have to write the ratio of first number to second number is equal to, here we can write 72 is to 60. The same thing we can write 72 upon 60. If you can see, these 72 and 60 both numbers are comes within the table of 12. So can we write like that? 12 into 6, 12 into 5, can we? 12 5s are 60, 12 6s are 72, means we should bifurcate it, we factorize that. Now numerator and denominator both we have 12, so that will be cancelled and we can write it like 6 upon 5. The same thing we have to write 6 is to 5, so it could become our answer. Come for the next sum. Here also we have 38 and 57. So let's start the same thing. The ratio of first number to second number is equal to 38 is to 57. We can write like in fraction form 38 upon 57. If you can see, these two numbers also a multiple of 19. So can we write 19 2s are 38, 19 3s are 57. Yes. Now we have numerator as well as denominator the same number. We have to do the cancel. Then 2 upon 3 remains. So we can write 2 is to 3. This will become the answer. Come for the next sum. One more sum we have 52 and 78. Let's start. The ratio of first number to second number is equal to 52 is to 78. Can we write it like 52 upon 78? Now think, 52 and 78 is a multiple of which number? So it's the multiple of 13. Can we write 13 into 4? 13 4s are 52 and 13 6s are 78. Can we write? So 13 become cancelled. So we will get 4 upon 6. Can we bifurcate it more? It could be 2 into 2, 2 into 3. Yes. Again we have to do the cancellation of these two. So we will get the final answer, we can say 2 upon 3. That we have to write 2 is to 3 will become the answer. This way we have to solve it. So let's see the next sum. Question number 2. What is that? There is only a little difference between these two sums, first and second. Find the ratio of the first quantity to the second quantity in their reduced form. The things is difference between question number 2 and 1 is that here we have the quantity. Means this time we have to must take care of the unit of the given quantity. So here we have the first one, rupees 700 and rupees 308. This time also we have to find out the ratio of these two. So let's start. The ratio of first quantity to second quantity is equal to, what we have to say, 700 is to 308. Directly we can take without unit, as because here we have the same unit, rupees and rupees, so we can take it. Now in the next line we have to write in a fraction form. Yes, 700 and 308. So let's bifurcate it, factorize it. Both are having the unit place 2. So can we write like 2 into what? 2 3s are 6, 2 5s are 10, 2 zeros are 0. In the denominator, 2 1s are 2, 2 5s are 10, 2 4s are 8. So this way we have the expanded form of that. 2 and 2 become cancelled. Now it will remains 350 and 54. Can we do more? So it will become like 0 and 4 are there, means both are multiple of 2. So 2 into 2 1s are 2, 2 7s are 14, 2 5s are 10. Here 2 into 2 7s are 14, 2 7s are 14. So these two become cancels. Again we have the next number 175 and 77. Can we do more factorization of these numbers? 77 is a multiple of 11 and 7. So this 175 is not the multiple of 11. So let's try with the 7. Can we write it 7 into 7 2s are 14. 17 minus 14, 3 and 5 become 35, 7 5s are 35. And in the denominator 7 into 11 we can write. So here we cancel this 7 and 7. Finally we got that 25 upon 11. We can write it 25 is to 11. And this is our final answers. So this way we have to find out the ratio of first quantity to the second quantity. And as we learn, the final ratio of the given quantity should be unitless. So here we should not mention the unit. Move for the next sum. 14 rupees and 12 rupees 40 paise. So here you can see we don't get the three quantities. These two are the same. So here we have two quantities, rupees and paise. So whether we are going to convert this paise into rupees or this rupees into paise. So rupee is a bigger unit as per comparison of the paise. So always whenever you have the same kind of the sums, so go for the smaller unit. That could be much more easier to us. So first we have to write, let's start, as because 1 rupee is equal to 100 paise. 1 rupee is equal to 100 paise. Therefore, rupees 14 is equal to 14 into 100 is equal to rupees 1400, and rupees 12 paise 40 is equal to 12 into 100 plus 40 is equal to 1200 plus 40 is equal to rupees 1240. Now we have to find out the ratio, as because the ratio of first quantity to second quantity is equal to 1400 is to 1240. Can we write it 400 upon 1240? Yes. Here 10 and 10 will become cancelled. We got 140 and 124. So how we have to do the cancellation of these two? Just think it. How we are going to do it? So if we are talking about the factorization of these, so let's see, last two digit 40, it could be divisible by 4, and in the denominator 24, that also divisible by 4. So can we write 4 into 4 3s are 12, 4 5s are 20, and denominator 4 3s are 12, 4 1s are 4. So here we do the cancellation of these 4, and the remains what we have, that is 35 upon 31. 31 is a prime number, so it should never going to be factorized more than rather than 31. So it could become 35 is to 31. We should not mention the unit in the answer. The next we have the same kind, 5 liters and 2500 milliliters. So the same things we are going to start, as because solution, as because 1 liter is equal to 1000 milliliter. So liter is the bigger unit as per comparison to the milliliter. So we are going to do the conversion of the liter into the milliliter. So therefore 5 liter is equal to 5 into 1000 is equal to 5000 liter, and 2500 here we have to write milliliter, and we have the second one 2500 milliliter already. So we converted into the same unit. Now we have to do the, how we are going to solve it, as because the ratio of first quantity to second quantity is equal to, the first we have what we converted, that is 5000 is to 2500. So we can write 5000 upon 2500. So 20 cancel with 20. Can we write it, these two are the multiple of 25, so we have to write 25 into 2, 25 into 1. So 25 will become cancelled, and we are getting the final answer, that is 2 upon 1, nothing else, 2 is to 1 is our final answer of these questions. Question number 3 is express the following percentage as ratios in the reduced form. Here we have the percentage. Percentage means the denominator should be 100 at that time. So that we have to convert into the reduced form. So solution 75 and 100 we have. We can write 75 is to 100. The same number we can write 75 upon 100. So this 175 we are going to do the factorization. So always whenever we have the denominator 100, that is divisible by 4 and 25. So these two are the divisible of 25. Can we write 25 into 4 and the numerator 25 into 3. 25 3s are 75, 25 4s are 100. So here we do the cancellation of this 25. So finally we are getting the answer 3 upon 4, and also we can write 3 is to 4. So it will become the reduced form of the given percentage. Second we have 44 and 100. 44 and 100. We should write like 44 is to 100 and 44 upon 100. As I said, this is a multiple of 25 upon 4. Always we have to do that. So it could become 11 into 4. 11 4s are 44. Here 4 and 4 will become cancel. We'll get the final answer 11 upon 25, and we can write 11 is to 25. It could become our answer. The third one is little different, nothing difficult to solve. We have 6.25 percentage. As we learn, 6.25 percentage means we can say 6.25 is to 100. As we learn in our property of the ratio, if we have the B second term 100, that means the percentage. So we can convert it like that. We can write 6.25 upon 100. In the numerator we have the 2 digit after the decimal point. So we are going to remove it. So it will become 625, and denominator already we have the 100. To removing this 2 digit number decimal, we multiply the numerator by 100. So denominator also we have to multiply by 100. Now just do the factorization of it. As we learn, 25 into 4 for the first 100 and 25 into 4 for the second 100. And if you remember, 625 is the square of 25. So we can do the cancellation of this 25 from here and this one from here. What will remains? In the numerator we have 1, 4 into 4 in the denominator. So it will become 1 upon 16. We can write 1 is to 16 become the answer. Move for the next sum. Question number 5. We left the question number 4. That is a question of proportion that we have to do in the next video. The question number 5 is based on the ratio. So first we have to do it. Convert the following ratios into percentage. What we did in the question number 3, we have to do the reverse of that. Now we have a ratio that we have to convert into the percentage. That means this B part, B term, we have to second term convert into the 100. So let's start. Can we write this 15 upon 25? Yes. Now to converting this 25 into 100, what we have to do? 25 is less than 100. Whenever we have the denominator less than 100, so always we are going to do the multiply. So we know very well 25 4 is 100. If we are multiplying the denominator by 4, numerator also multiply by the same number. 15 4 is 60, 25 4 is 100. We got the denominator 100, so we can write 60 is to 100 or 60 percentage. This way we find out the percentage of the given ratio. The next one is that 47 is to 50. So let's start. 47 upon 50. Now 52 is 100. Again we are going to multiply. So numerator also multiply by 2. Denominator will become 100. 2 sevens are 14. 1 carry 2 fours are 8 plus 1 9. 94. Can we write 94 is to 100? Yes, of course. So it will become 94 percentage. Is the conversion of the given ratio into the percentage. Come for the third one. It is a little different. Not different, we can say denominator is 16. As easily we are doing in the previous sums, here we cannot. 7 upon 16. We cannot get the 100 by multiplying 16 any number, as because 100 is not a multiple of 16. So what we have to do in the next line, 7 upon 16 multiplied by 100, and denominator of whole fraction is 1, there also we have to multiply by 100. So what we are getting? We are getting 700 upon 16 upon 100. Let's do this division. 700 divided by 16. What we are getting? 16 4s are 64. 0 and 4. We cannot subtract from 4 from 0. So it borrow 1 from 7. 10 minus 4 6. And here 0. We are getting 16. Again. Now this time 16 3s are 48. So 10 minus 8 2. And here 1. Put the decimal, here we get 20. Yes, now read the table of 16, whether we are getting 120 or less than 120. So what we are getting? There we can see 7 jar. 16 7 jar 112. Subtract it. 10 minus 2 8. 1 minus 8 0, 0 1 minus 1 0. Once we put the decimal, we can take 0 many more times. 16 5s are 80. Here we got the remainder 0. That means, can we write it like 43.75 upon 100? It could like 43.75 is to 100 is equal to 43.75 percentage. Becomes the conversion or in the percentage of the given ratio. So this way, if the denominator is not able to multiply and get the answer 100, so this way we can do it. So this way we learn to convert the given quantities or the numbers in the reduced form of the ratio, and what is the necessary things what we have to remember in our mind to doing the such kinds of the sums. We learn that. On the basis of same, you have the homework. Question number 1. Find the ratio of the first quantity to the second quantity. These three are the sub questions. What we did in the question number 2, you have to find out the reduced form of the given quantities. First check whether the units are same or not. If the same, directly you can. If the units are different, just make it same. Then you have to find in the reduced form of the ratio. Question number 2. Express the following percentage as ratio in the reduced form. What we did in the question number 3, here we have the percentage, just convert into the reduced form. The 3 is that convert the following ratio in the percentage, what we did right now in the question number 5. Here we have the denominator 10 and 600, just convert these 2 into the 100. And at that time what we are doing in the denominator, the same thing we are going to do in the numerator, and we will get in the percentage. So this way we learn how we have find out the reduced form of the ratio and how we can convert the percentage into the reduced form of the ratio, or if we have the ratio, how we can turn into the percentage. These things today we learn. The remaining sums of the same practice set 4.1 we will continue in the next video. And if you have any kind of difficulty, you should ask. This question you should be solved in your homework book and submit it in your group. For that, thank you so much.